One very important part of the healing journey in self-discovery, also slash awakening, and I don't think it has been spoken about enough. At least I haven't seen it much. Is a part of all the process of realizing and being aware of our projections. It's very important for the person who is wanting to heal from the past or heal certain patterns of behavior. They acknowledge that they have some traumas and they are carrying it with them, or they carrying certain negative or destructive habits in their life and they want to change them. Anything that falls in the category of you are trying to improve yourself in the sense of trying to have a better and healthier life. Realizing your projections and understanding what a projection is very, very, very important, because that step is going to take you into your power as well. As long as we are projecting things onto others, we're not owning our power. So projection is basically when you put certain behaviors or actions into others. You see things that you haven't accepted about yourself, behaviors that you haven't accepted about yourself, or emotions that you haven't accepted, that you have been denying or resisting in yourself, or you're simply unconscious about them. You will be seeing them in others. And how you can identify when it's a projection and when it's not a projection is usually because there are triggers. So you can call them also triggers if you want, as part of it. But whenever you have a trigger from the behavior of somebody, and especially family members, this is very common through family members, or it could be anyone you know, but it's very common with family members. There's a reason why we chose the family where we are in, we were born into. There's a reason for everything. And so when you feel triggered by a behavior or an emotion, it could be an emotion that somebody else is feeling, and you feel triggered by that, you don't like it, you resist it, you don't want to see it, or you're judging it, extremely judging it in them. And in a way, you are putting everything on them, meaning they are making you feel this. They are doing that to you because you are feeling triggered, and then you're blaming them. You're putting the blame on them that they're making you feel a specific way. Now, I'm not talking about when somebody actually is doing something to you, like literally, slapping you, for example, just to be very clear about example, is of course you're going to react in a way because they slap you. They're actually touching you physically. So that's a completely different thing from what I'm talking about now. What I'm saying here is when somebody's having a specific behavior and you're seeing it, or maybe you're talking with them and the person says something, or the way they said it, or something, and that touched something inside, it touched some wound or some trigger in you. And of course, you're not being aware of this. You just reacting, or you just feeling, the emotion, or the emotion just comes out. And the immediate response is to blame the other one, is to think that the other one is the one making you feel that way. The problem is in the other one. So you are disowning the emotions that you're feeling. You're disowning certain things that are inside of you. So when we disown or reject or ignore or just don't accept certain things in ourselves, that's when we do the projection. That's what is called projecting. You projecting it onto others. And this, of course, is going to be super common in your closest relationships when there's a couple relationship, however that couple relationship is, or however you want to call that couple relationship. That is going to be a major source of projection for the person because emotions run deep there. And so it would be very common for a lot of couples to be projecting on each other. And it can get really confusing and really messy if we're not aware of this. So this part, this process of realization, of self-knowledge, this is part of self-knowledge. This part, okay, that's my cat. Yes, baby, I'm coming now. Yeah. This part of the self-knowledge process, let's put it that way, or self-healing process, is very, very important as you realize, because if we keep projecting, disowning parts of ourselves like that, then you're really never gonna own your whole self. You're not gonna own who you really are. So you can't really grow and know new parts of yourself because you're being really stuck in that process of projecting. So when you become aware of this and you start owning those things for yourself, because they're usually things that you don't like, of course, that's why you're not accepting them, because you think they're bad. So you're not accepting them in yourself. You don't like them. So when you start owning those things, which is part of self-love, that's another parallel step there, is part of self-love and self-acceptance, that you do have these things, that you do feel these things, that you do have things that you don't like about yourself, and you own those things, then you start freeing yourself from that jail of projection. It's a jail, and it will never allow you to grow. It will never allow you to grow and expand more than that. And plus, you're not owning your power. You're not owning your power of change, creation, of choice, because you put it in the other one. So you're basically a victim. And as long as we are in the victim mentality, we can't change anything in our lives or anything else. So as you go doing that with the self-acceptance, self-owning these things, then you will be releasing these projections. You will be acknowledging them faster. You will be identifying things that, oh, this is a projection. Oh, this is not a projection. Oh, this is the other person. It has nothing to do with me. So I'm not getting triggered because I understand that that's the other person. It's not me. But as long as you disown these things in you, you're going to keep being triggered and blaming it in the other one. So just want to say that this is a process, it's a step. If you get to go through this and you are very aware and conscious of all your relationships, all your relatedness, how you project and what you're projecting and what you're not projecting, the things that you are disowning, the things you're not accepting about yourself. When you go through this with all your relationships in your life, and the timing is individual timing, the timing is for each person. Each individual goes in their own time. There's no amount of time here that I can tell you. How long is this gonna last? How long is this process or this stage? No, there's no how long. It's just how long it takes for each individual to go through this process. But what I want to say is that yes, you can pass through this process and this stage of projection, and you can get to a place as you get to know yourself better and you get to know your energy better and you get to accept yourself more and more and more and more with everything that you are, because you are doing other things, not only this, but you also working on your self-esteem, your self-love, compassion, self-forgiveness. All these different things go hand in hand. for you to release the projections, um, then yes, you're going to get to a place where you don't project anymore. You're not projecting things to other people because you are owning who you are, and you know who you are, and you know where you are and what you're doing. So you're not putting things on other people. You're just understanding that they are in their own journey and they are going through their own stuff, just like you are. So there's no projection. And that's a huge, huge feeling of freedom. Also, you are getting back your power of creation, your power of being a creator. That this is really the only way that you can get back your power. You can't have your power when you're putting things on other people, when you're blaming other people for your own emotional reality or your own reactions. We are the owners of our reactions. We are the ones who choose and decide. And that reaction is going to depend on the level of consciousness that we have about ourselves. This is absolutely not judgment for anyone or any behavior. We go through different stages of consciousness. So it depends on what consciousness, how much consciousness you have about your own internal workings, your own internal feelings, because it's all internal. At the end, the growth is all internal. Then that's going to manifest outside, but the change is internal first. It's not the other way around. So it all depends on how much consciousness the individual has in all these different places in themselves inside the emotional reality, the belief system, what was triggering them. All of this is self-knowledge, which to me, self-knowledge, self-discovery, self-healing, and awakening is all synonym. They all go hand in hand. I don't see it separate. They all need to go together. Also mental health. I'm gonna throw it in there as well. It's all in there. So this is the perspective that I have now from all these processes. And I just wanted to touch on projection, maybe throw a little bit of light into what it really is and how to identify them. And of course, there's more to this and deeper practices and more self-help tools that you can use for identifying your own projections, how to do it. But these are the first step. This is just for anybody who maybe have heard about it and is like, I don't really understand what that does mean. When am I projecting? When I'm not projecting? And what it really means. So that was the intention of this video today alone. I hope it helps somehow, and I hope it gives you some light into this process, whatever process you are in right now. And all the best luck. Much love, light, and peace to you.